Now the latest on COVID-19 in our community. The testing site that's now open 7 days a week.
And we'll give you a quick update on our weekend forecast coming up in a few moments.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on News 3 Now, and happy Sunday. I'm McKenna Alexander. Let's go ahead and take a look outside this morning. Julian, what's it looking like for the day ahead?
Well, it's looking a little cloudy to start off, but at least we're starting to see that sliver of some sunrise here in our Sunday morning in Madison. Good morning, folks. As we get things rolling for us, well, our current conditions as of right now, it's pretty normal around this time of year, as we are going to be seeing 15 degrees as of right now here in Madison, but it feels like 8 degrees from those northeasterly winds at 5 miles per hour. So the winds aren't too breezy, but still just enough to make it feel a bit chillier than it actually is on the surface. But our surface temperatures around southern Wisconsin, 18 degrees here in Janesville, 11 degrees in Platteville, and for us here in Madison, once again, 15 degrees. Not too bad of a start, but still chilly. So definitely needs your glove, hat, and a scarf when you're heading out the door. Winds are into the single digits throughout much of southern Wisconsin, with 7 miles per hour winds for Janesville and Monroe, with 5 miles per hour winds over into Platteville. Wind chills are still playing a factor, but at least we're not below zero. Single digits throughout much of southern Wisconsin as we're getting things rolling for us. But in terms of being able to drive around today, we're not looking at any issues since it has been pretty dry, and we're not really looking at anything else really starting to pop up for our Sunday. Looking at no issues from this morning, and especially going into this afternoon. We'll have much more updates coming up in a few moments. Until then, let's toss it back to you, McKenna.
All right, thanks, Julian. Topping this morning's coronavirus headlines. If you need a COVID test, the Alliant Energy Center's site is now open on the weekends. Beginning this week, the site is open every day. Public Health was expecting to do this at some point in January after reopening the testing site earlier this month. PHMDC's website doesn't have any open appointments today, but has dozens of open slots beginning tomorrow. Meanwhile, the 7-day average of new cases in Wisconsin is quickly dropping. Friday's data showed an average of 7,300 new cases each day over the past week. All 72 counties, though, remain in the critically high level of COVID activity, and more than 20% of all tests still coming back positive. Meanwhile, the CDC says Omicron has officially peaked in the U.S., but deaths and hospital numbers are still up. And now scientists say a new variant called BA2 Omicron is being watched closely.
We're now seeing a variant that is going to be much more contagious than Omicron and will likely take over the space occupied by the original variant.
In some countries, BA2 is already spreading fast and leaving people who are unvaccinated at much higher risk of death and serious illness. A downtown Madison theater will begin requiring COVID booster shots in March. The Overture Center says all guests will have to show proof of the booster or a recent negative test if you want to get inside. Wearing a mask will also still be required. Officials say the policy will be reevaluated mid-March. Daily COVID-19 cases are down from where they were 2 weeks ago. Hospitalizations are also dropping, but more than 2,200 people on average still dying every day. However, experts say the state of the pandemic may finally be taking a turn for the better. CNN's Natasha Chen has more.
U.S. daily COVID-19 cases are down more than 25% from the peak 2 weeks ago. But not all states have reached their Omicron peak yet. Several states are seeing increases compared to last week, shown on the map in orange or red. And more than 2,200 people are still dying each day in the United States. Still, in the frustrating ups and downs of what is nearly a 2-year pandemic, there is optimism that things may be looking up again.
Deaths are still rising. We know that lag's about 2 to 3 weeks behind. So my hope is within a week or so we see that peak and start turning. And my expectation is that in the upcoming weeks, we will see substantial declines in infections.
A new spin-off of Omicron called BA2 has been detected in 49 countries, including the U.S. But experts say there's no reason to panic.
The immunity that you get from vaccines, and even to some extent from natural immunity, still seems to be protective against this lineage. That's the bottom line. It's not different enough.
As people look at how to do more safely, the White House says 60 million households have requested free COVID-19 rapid tests from the government, with tens of millions of tests having been shipped out already. But there is no definitive guidance from the CDC on how to come out of the pandemic and return to some version of normal.
I'm really focusing on things that I can control. That's my life motto right now.
Some athletes headed for the Winter Olympics in Beijing know years of hard work and preparation could hinge on not getting sick.
if we get COVID right now, we're not skating, and that's extremely fearful. And like, I'm not that fearful of it, just because I know that I've done everything in my power to not get COVID, and I've done everything right.
The games begin in less than a week with limited spectators, and athletes will live in a bubble.
Usually you're connecting with your friends from all over the world, and it like creates this unity, but lately it's been a little bit like segregated. So that aspect is not super fun.
In Los Angeles, the Niners-Rams NFC Championship game this weekend is a precursor to the Super Bowl held in the same stadium on February 13th. LA County Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer says the county has likely passed the peak of Omicron, but masks will still be required at the big game, and free rapid tests will be available. For those at home,
if you can't move the TV outside, which in many places you may not be able to do, move the food outside.
She says fans gathering for a watch party or celebrating Lunar New Year this week should get tested before meeting up.
It's not that people can't gather. It's that if you are going to gather, you need to layer in some of those safety precautions. And for people at highest risk of severe illness, you need to be super careful.
Like in years past, the NFL will have a fan experience before the Super Bowl. In LA, fans will get free take-home test kits. Anyone receiving a first, second, or booster dose of the vaccine on site will be given free entry to the fan experience event.
Still ahead, an animal is on the loose in Chicago, but it may not be the type you'd expect. And you're taking a live look over the Capitol. Jillian's tracking your forecast just ahead.
Pick and Save delivery is always fresh because we check our produce at every stop on its journey to you. We're fresh every day, so shop anyway. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
I'm a little old to count down the days, but my ski trip to Cascade Mountain with my cousin each year, so much fun. We used to pretend like we were flying. Now, we really do. My dad and my uncle like that we still ski free. But Noah and I, we just have fun. See you there.
I know there's conflicting information about Dupuytren's contracture.
But that I couldn't get treatment yet.
Well, people may think that their contracture has to be severe to be treated, but it doesn't. If you can't lay your hand flat on the table, talk to a hand specialist.
But what if I don't want surgery?
Well, then you should find a hand specialist certified to offer non-surgical treatments.
What's the next step?
Visit findahandspecialist.com today to get started.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head in monthly payments, there's a secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $10,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for the credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Credit Associates, and we're offering you free information on how to completely resolve your credit card debt with a monthly payment you can afford. To see how much you could save, call now. 1-800-914-6947. Don't declare bankruptcy. Don't consolidate. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. After all, we depend on your success and offer a guarantee so there's no risk to call. Credit Associates. Live better, debt-free. We'll even show you how to use your stimulus money to jumpstart our services and get you debt-free faster than you ever thought possible. Call Credit Associates now to see how much you could save for free. Call 1-800-914-6947.
At McGann Furniture in Baraboo, we know that hardworking people want the most value for their money. When you shop at McGann, we've already sorted out and selected the brands that we feel offer you the most bang for your buck. From young couples just starting out to senior citizens, we offer a huge selection at prices that will fit your budget. Plus, most purchases include free delivery and setup. And remember, at McGann, we don't raise our prices only to lower them later for a sale. Discover the difference at McGann Furniture in downtown Baraboo.
At Pick and Save, you can get personalized coupons on top of weekly sales for prices that are lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
As we are getting our Sunday morning rolling, well, we're starting to see a bit more of that sunrise for us, but cloud cover is still staying pretty firm into our skies as we're continuing throughout the rest of our morning. Temperatures as of right now, though, we are about a degree lower than we were just about 30 minutes ago, but it's still 15 degrees right now, and it feels like 8 with those northeasterly winds at 5 miles per hour. So still looking at some light winds rolling in from the northeast for us, but temperatures around southern Wisconsin on the surface are still holding into the teens with 18 degrees over in Janesville with 11 degrees in Platteville as of right now. With wind speeds, however, as I mentioned, not too fast as we are looking at still just the single digits in terms of those winds coming in with 7 miles per hour winds over into Janesville with 5 miles per hour winds in Platteville. The wind chills or what it feels like as you're heading out the door still into the single digits. 8 degrees is what it feels like for Janesville and for Madison, and 3 degrees into Platteville and to our friends in Lone Rock as well. But as we take a look, we are still pretty quiet. Aside from cloud cover, we're not looking at much in terms of precipitation at all. Still not a very active system that we're entering in. We're staying on the drier side. Now, as we head in and planning out the rest of today, just know we are looking at temperatures to warm up about into the middle 20s. Much of a repeat of what it was yesterday, but much more cloudier conditions. As we plan out the rest of today, going into this afternoon, temperatures again going to stay into those middle 20s for us, and as we approach the nighttime, well, we're going to be chilling back down into those teens. Then we're going to hold those teens firmly into our Monday morning, but cloud cover is still going to be blanketing around southern Wisconsin. As we get into the afternoon hours, we'll be seeing those temperatures warming back up into those middle 20s pretty quickly, and then the upper 20s and even 30s around much of southern Wisconsin. So we're looking at a pretty mild day for this time of year heading into our Monday afternoon. But definitely take as much of it in as you can, because as we get into the rest of this week, we're going to be looking at another blast of some Arctic air coming in from our Wednesday, Thursday, and into our Friday, which will drop our temperatures back into the teens. However, we are also going to be keeping an eye on this system that's going to be developing into the Midwest that would be clipping just onto the southern border of southern Wisconsin and into northern Illinois. That could be bringing in some flurries to some areas and some light snowfall as well. And that's why we're going to be seeing from Wednesday to Friday a chance of seeing some light flurries or even some snowfall for us as we head into the weekends. That's the only time we're really going to be seeing much in terms of precipitation. It's going to be seasonably cold throughout today, heading into some dry conditions to start off next week, and then we are looking at the chance of seeing a small burst of some flurries or even some light snow coming in from Wednesday into our Friday. That's what we're going to be seeing on our 10-day forecast, and then the temperatures will be warming back up heading into Sunday, Monday, and next Tuesday of the week following. More seasonable on the way as we welcome into February, but until then, McKenna, we got to get through these teens one more time.
One more time.
At least for right now.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, thanks, Julian. How about this? A buffalo is on the loose just outside of Chicago. Her owner has been trying to lure her back with treats. I don't know what buffalo treats are, but clearly they're out there. But the buffalo keeps popping up on social media. John Garcia joined her for part of the search.
All these are all bison tracks.
Scott Comstock says he knows his runaway buffalo is in the area.
Oh yeah, she's here. She was here. As a matter of fact, just make sure she ain't in here.
She's been spotted by dozens of local residents numerous times. In fact, she's somewhat of a social media star and a local legend since her escape last September from the Milk and Honey farmstead in Wakanda. Island Lake Police got this video last November as the bison crossed the road in front of a squad car.
Her legend's growing, and in the meantime, she's up to like 900 pounds now. So she's
healthy.
She's fantastically healthy.
That's because she's eating well while on the run. Comstock has found the bison's weakness: food. He's been putting out feed sweetened with molasses at this nearby farm, hoping to lure her into the barn and close the door behind her. He got close last week, drawing her inside the enclosure, but she crashed through this fence instead of going into the barn.
She came over here and she jumped and she landed right on this.
Some fans have dubbed the runaway buffalo Tyson the Bison or Bill the Buffalo.
She walked up right here.
While she continues to roam free through the neighborhoods, her sister is safely roaming the farm fields she shares with cows, bulls, and other animals. The owners brought the buffalo here to help educate customers about healthy eating. They never expected all the attention they've gotten since the escape.
Oh, we're close. We're close.
They're now planning to have a naming contest when they catch her sister.
People in the community say it's not a matter of if, but when they catch the fugitive bison, and they say they're already planning a huge celebration. Well, still ahead, a 98-year-old time capsule has been opened in Ohio. What it shares from the past, coming up on News 3 Now this morning.
Download the Channel 3000 First Warn Weather app today.
Don't miss out on Floor & Decor's grand opening in Monona. With our wide selection of high-quality tile, wood, stone, and vinyl, all at everyday low prices, you can realize any aspirational project at an inspirational price. Explore Floor & Decor's newest location on February 7th.
And now, most admired alum.
Get up there.
This is so embarrassing.
There's no way it's me.
You know her. You love her.
Ruh-roh.
What are you doing here?
It's Anna Gomez! Who? Our first gagillionaire. With AT&T Fiber, Anna's got the fastest internet with hyper-gig speed.
I didn't know you went to this school.
We have a lot in common.
Live like a gagillionaire with AT&T Fiber. Now with speeds up to 5 gigs. Limited availability.
Dinosaur Adventure roars into Madison. One weekend only. Alliant Energy Center. With life-size dinosaurs and massive family fun. Experience the thrill of the prehistoric age. Featuring the ferocious T-Rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor, and more. Go on a realistic fossil dig. Take a ride on your favorite dinosaur. Bounce around in the prehistoric playground. And a baby dinosaur meet and greet. Take an amazing dinosaur adventure. February 5th and 6th. Alliant Energy Center. Tickets at dinosauradventure.com.
There's a reason big dental bills often come as a shock, because sometimes you don't realize what's not covered until you get the bill. That's why affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual is important. It can give you benefits that go beyond what you get from more limited coverage plans. Because no one likes a big dental bill, especially if you're retired or on a fixed income. For a free information kit, call or go online now. This isn't some discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps cover over 350 procedures, like cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures, at any dentist you want. Dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company helps cover preventive care, basic work, and major procedures, with no deductibles and no annual maximum. For your free information kit with all the details, call now or visit sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Back by popular demand after a year off.
It's the Andy North Trivia Night, February 24th of 2022.
It's trivia for a cause. All the proceeds go for research at UW Carbone Cancer Center.
Find all the details at andynorthandfriends.com.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
A nearly 100-year-old time capsule has been opened in Ohio. Take a look.
In a way, our memories of school never leave us. They live on in our thoughts and our interpretations of the world around us, shaping our lives even into our oldest years. But inside this 98-year-old box, the long-gone experiences of early 20th century life can be felt once again. These were placed in the cornerstone when Holy Name High School was built in 1924 on 5th Street. It later became a grade school before closing in the 1970s, with the building later repurposed for apartments. But through all that history, these relics remained hidden in the ground and in remarkable condition.
It does not look like they were in the ground out in the weather for over 100 years.
What was found is not much different from what you'd find at a religious center today. There's a list of the church committee, a bulletin, and a booklet written for children preparing for First Communion. There's a yearbook and a student newspaper, 10 cents. There's even a document that's tough to read, not just because of the handwriting, but because it's written entirely in Latin. Teach Out says other time capsules they found weren't much more than scraps of paper, so the feeling of stepping back into the past with this one is remarkable.
For me, it's like touching the records and knowing somebody else from another time period touched them, like the yearbooks, like whose yearbook was this?
What they show is a people whose church provided their community, their family, and their sense of belonging. The yearbook has detailed information on the graduating class, doing many of the same things 17 and 18-year-olds do now. Even the medals show engravings of what downtown Steubenville looked like in the Roaring 20s.
These religious records, you might think, oh, they're just the history of the church, but they actually provide a lot of history about just the towns and the people who live here.
While the clothes look different and the writing is more formal, the emotion of day-to-day life shines through in the yellowed pages, showing that fashion is temporary, but the spirit inside every one of us and our curiosity of the past will never fade with time.
In comparison to 100 years ago, people aren't that much different.
There's a half hour of news still ahead here on News 3 This Morning Sunday. Next, we're running through the morning's top stories, including the latest on yesterday's shooting in Boulogne. We'll be right back.
It's January clearance time at A1 Furniture with 10 to 40% off store-wide and tax included on any purchase over $4.99. Huge selection in stock for immediate pickup or delivery, plus 1 year free financing.
Madison's locally owned family furniture store.
Weather can be weathered with technology there to help you in a Ford Escape. Winter roads can be tough. Bronco Sport, tougher. And Explorer can take the bite out of chilly mornings. Ford, winter like you mean it. Right now, lease an adventure-ready 2021 Ford Explorer for $389 a month. Only at your Wisconsin and UP Ford dealers.
Isn't it great how swinging through Culver's drive-thru marks the unofficial start to family time? How biting into a hot-off-the-grill Butterburger makes worries melt away? And how a fresh frozen custard concrete mixer puts a smile on your face every time. Here, a meal you didn't have to make is a meal made fresh for you. And being greeted with a smile, even beneath a mask, makes all the difference.
There's a reason we put so much care into our food. That reason is you. Welcome to Delicious.
You know what I'm going to miss most about space?
What's that?
How easy it is to keep up my saving habit. There's nothing to buy up here.
We're making it easier to save on Earth, too. When you open a savings builder account at BMO Harris, you can get a cash reward for every month you save.
Anything to help launch my savings?
Sure. When you open a checking account, we'll give you $200 to kickstart your savings progress.
$200 and a monthly savings reward.
It's a way to save that won't weigh you down. It's a little space humor.
When a bank helps you make real financial progress, that's the BMO effect.
U.S. ad spending is set to surpass $300 billion by 2022, and the greater Madison area is poised for major growth. So now would be a great time to consider a career in multimedia sales and to join our team selling our top-rated media and digital solutions. Work for a company that offers training, autonomy, flexibility, income growth, upward mobility, and work-life balance with a competitive wage. If you have a passion to drive results for local businesses, then visit morganmurphymedia.com right now to apply.
Get the best deals on name brand mattresses only at A1 Furniture's January clearance event. Save 10 to 40% off and get tax included on any purchase over $4.99, plus 1 year free financing.
Madison's locally owned family furniture store.
News 3 Now's Call for Action team advocates for you. Getting through when you can't.
We hear comments like, oh, thank you for listening. Nobody cared.
Asking the right questions.
Your customers are so frustrated. You hope to make that right.
And getting results.
They sent a water heater the next day after you told me you made the call.
When you're getting nowhere, we have the team and the resources to get answers. Call for Action, only on News 3 Now. We're taking action for you.
Right now, a look at the powerful nor'easter that's hitting the East Coast.
And we're far away from that nor'easter. We'll take a look at our change of our forecast coming up.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us on News 3 Now. Happy Sunday. I'm McKenna Alexander. A powerful snowstorm with wind gusts near hurricane force pounded the Northeast on Saturday. Forecasters warning of possibly worsening conditions and bitter cold. CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette reports from Riverhead, New York.
The snowstorm turned New York's Central Park into a winter wonderland. But from the mid-Atlantic states up to Maine and beyond, the snow, high winds, and storm surge brought towns and cities to a virtual standstill while putting Mother Nature's beauty on full display. In the coastal town of Scituate, Massachusetts, streets began flooding in the early hours of the nor'easter. Residents were advised to evacuate, though many remain. On Long Island in New York, the snow was strong and steady overnight and all day Saturday. This was the huge mound pushed into one corner of a park parking lot in Riverhead. Nassau and Suffolk counties were among the harder hit parts of the state.
It's tough to see if you're pulling out of your driveway trying to get a head start just to get out. Plows are coming down and we can't see out of our windows that great. So we have guys in the truck there watching out the windows on the side.
With temperatures in the teens, New York Governor Kathy Hochul warned the situation could become life-threatening.
When the weather is this cold, this is where the dangerousness sets in. You cannot have people in their homes without heat for any length of time.
The storm's immense reach can be seen on satellite images from space. FlightAware says most flights into and out of airports serving New York, Boston, and Philadelphia were canceled Saturday. Despite the hardships, for many, the weather meant just one thing: fun. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Riverhead, New York.
The nor'easter hit parts of 10 states and some major population centers, including Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. All right, Julian, tell me about our weather this morning. That's a beautiful sunrise.
I know, right? It's right over the Capitol, just gorgeous as the cloud cover is starting to break up for us. But our weather is going to be completely different from where it is, even from my back home and to our friends into the Northeast. But we are looking at planning our day. It's going to be quiet. Cloud cover is really going to be the biggest thing for today. As temperatures are going to be into the middle 20s as we approach the afternoon, but it's going to be cloudy once again from around dinner time into later into tonight. As we transition into our Monday morning, we'll expect a little bit more of the same. However, once again, we're going to be seeing those temperatures warm up into about those lower 20s as we approach the noon hour. Getting into this evening, still going to be holding into those 20s throughout southern Wisconsin, but we can see that cloud cover firmly being just blanketing southern Wisconsin throughout the course of the day. As we head into the overnight, transitioning into our Monday morning, we're going to be seeing those temperatures into the teens pretty early, around the 7 a.m. commute. So it's going to be on the chillier side. But then as we get into our lunchtime hour, we will see those temperatures back into the middle 20s, upper 20s, and even the 30s as we get into our 5 p.m. commute for the evening of Monday. So just know that temperatures are not going to be too bad for Monday, not even that bad for Tuesday. It's actually going to be better on Tuesday as we see the bit of that ridging action. But then as we head into Wednesday, that Arctic blast is going to roll back into the upper Midwest, cooling us down or back to those teens as we go on from Wednesday, Thursday, and especially into our Friday. We'll see some relief as we head into the weekend, but it will be a minor relief. We are going to be keeping our eye on the system that could be bringing us a precipitation, but we'll have details on that in just a few moments. Until then, back to you, McKenna.
All right, thanks, Julian. At least one person is in the hospital after a shooting outside Beloit Memorial High School. This happened shortly before 9 o'clock last night in the minutes following Memorial's boys basketball game against the Follett. Beloit police say the school district of Beloit is cooperating with the investigation. A Madison School District spokesperson tells us everyone on the Follett team got safely back on the bus and headed home. Nobody from the district was impacted by the incident. More news out of Beloit. For the second time in 4 days, police in the city are investigating a woman's death. On Wednesday, a 31-year-old woman was shot on the city's west side on Madison Road, and Saturday morning, about 72 hours later and just 3 miles away, police say a woman was stabbed to death. Now, police say that investigation started about 7:20 a.m. Her body was found on Hose Drive near Clary Street. Officers haven't said if anyone is in custody, but say the woman had been stabbed. She's not been identified. We heard again from Beloit's police chief, and he says he's had enough. 2 homicides in 2020, 4 in 2021, and in 2022. 2 homicides before the end of January. Talio Melodina spoke with Beloit police and a community organizer in the city, and they all agree something has to change.
I think insane is probably an understatement at this point.
News of a second homicide in less than a week has community leaders at a loss.
It seems like as soon as one happens and you think, okay, we're going to try and get this figured out, let's do an event, let's try and take a breath. You can't even sit back and take in, you know, the last situation, the last issue without something else happening now.
Earlier this month, Lexi Payton's group, which aims to open lines of communication between communities of color and police, hosted an event addressing violence in the city. So for her, today's homicide investigation came as a shock.
That it's not just gun violence. Now we have stabbings.
Beloit Police Chief Andre Sales says his team of detectives is working tirelessly to address crime in the city, but also says they need help.
As a chief, I'm overly frustrated. I know the men and women of the Beloit Police Department are frustrated. I know our residents here in the city of Beloit are frustrated.
Asking the Beloit community to come together to put an end to the violence.
We're going to need to know who's who this person was with, who they had close ties with.
It's a call for help. Peyton is ready to answer, looking for others to join her cause.
Trying to change the dynamic. A lot of times we see that there is no communication.
For his part, Chief Sales vowing to put every effort into solving not just the homicide of the woman found on Clary Street, but all homicide investigations that remain open.
We're going to take every lead. We're going to dig into it and make sure we're doing the right things on our end.
In Beloit, Tahlil Muhiddin, News 3 Now.
Peyton says since their community event earlier this month, her group has been in contact with Beloit police. She also says they were able to talk with the chief about the investigation and says he's open to working with them moving forward. In more developing news, one person is in the hospital and one is in custody after a hit and run on Madison's east side. MPD says the crash happened on Milwaukee Street at about 9 o'clock Saturday morning. One person was extracted from their car and taken to the hospital where they're expected to be okay. Officers say a suspect in the crash ran off and armed themselves inside a home. They later turned themselves in after negotiations with police. One person is dead after a crash in southeast Dane County. This also happened early Saturday morning on County Highway A in the town of Dunkirk. The sheriff's office says an SUV crashed into a tree. A 32-year-old man was killed in the crash. His identity has not been released. Looking across the U.S. now, the investigation into the bridge collapse in Pittsburgh has now begun. Brianna Smith reports on what crews are learning.
Crews from the National Transportation Safety Board arrived here at the site in Pittsburgh early Saturday morning to start their first full day of investigating what caused the collapse of the Fern Hollow Bridge and beginning the long process of rebuilding it. This was the scene Friday morning as the Fern Hollow Bridge in Pittsburgh's Regent Square neighborhood was reduced to rubble. More than 24 hours later, this is what it looks like now. The NTSB arrived Friday night to start the cleanup process, first acknowledging those who were impacted.
While we are fortunate, very fortunate, that there were no fatalities as a result of this bridge collapse, there were injuries, which also can be significant, not just from a standpoint of physical injuries, but this was certainly very tragic.
10 people were injured, and while all are expected to recover, at least 2 have significant injuries that will take some time to heal. As they recover, the NTSB is trying to determine how this happened.
Our first order of business here is going to be mapping the scene. We have a crash reconstructionist who is on his way. He will be operating our drone to do that.
The head investigator says once the mapping is complete, then they can start removing debris and the vehicles that were on the bridge when it collapsed, including an Allegheny County Port Authority bus.
It's kind of like peeling the layers of an onion to see where things were, where they ended up in the collapse. Of course, we're looking for indications of where it began.
Dennis Hollis says they're looking for signs of stress, fracture, and deterioration. This whole process could last for days or even weeks. The rebuilding, on the other hand, likely years.
We have to look at, design, engineering, put it out to bid, find funding for it, because you're looking at millions of dollars that right now I don't know where that would be in the city budgets.
Pittsburgh City Councilman Corey O'Connor says he's hopeful funding from the state and federal government, including from President Biden's infrastructure plan, will help. Local leaders say Frick Park is closed until further notice, and that includes the wooded area and trails. They say it could be unstable and dangerous. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Brianna Smith, CBS News.
Still ahead, how you can help people stay warm in Madison today. Coming up on News 3 Now this morning, Sunday.
Are you ready to make junk disappear?
I am so looking forward to this.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point. Any first item removed, just $89.
Hold on, I'm coming. You didn't tell me you were getting McDonald's.
Enjoy a sausage McMuffin or sausage biscuit with hash browns. Each bundle just $2.
Deep in credit card debt? Did you know Credit Associates can help you reduce that debt? It's not nearly as complicated as you think. Let me show you what I mean. First, there's the total amount of credit card debt you owe. Whoa! We can reduce that by almost half. Second, how about those decades you'll be in debt? We reduce that down to as little as 24 to 36 months, giving you up to 20 debt-free years back. Lastly, how about the endless hours of stress and anxiety from being in debt? We can help reduce that too. It's easy to get started. Call now to see how Credit Associates can reduce your debt and save you thousands. The information is free and there's no risk to call. 1-800-949-3849. Call Credit Associates now to start living better, debt-free. 1-800-949-3849.
Bob's won't rest until everyone gets the furniture they love, in stock and fast. But we're only two Bobs. Are we, though? It's time to assemble the Bobs.
It's the call of the Bobs.
Well, that's a happy little sound.
Bob, vanilla ice latte.
Bobs. Wow, this is some seashell. Shop what's in stock, in store, or at mybobs.com.
Dinosaur Adventure roars into Madison. One weekend only. Alliant Energy Center. With life-size dinosaurs and massive family fun. Experience the thrill of the prehistoric age. Featuring the ferocious T-Rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor, and more. Go on a realistic fossil dig. Take a ride on your favorite dinosaur. Bounce around in the prehistoric playground. And a baby dinosaur meet and greet. Take an amazing dinosaur adventure. February 5th and 6th. Alliant Energy Center. Tickets at dinosauradventure.com.
How to change the way you pizza. Step 1, grab a delicious Papa Murphy's pizza. Step 2, bake. Step 3, chow down on the deliciousness. Order the fan favorite Cowboy pizza right now at papamurphys.com.
Are you ready to make junk disappear?
I am so looking forward to this.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point. Any first item removed, just $89.
As we take a quick moment at enjoying our beautiful sunrise here, taking a look at our sky cam outside of our station, we're looking at that little bit of that break into our skies as of right now, but it's still blanketing as we're continuing throughout the rest of our morning. Temperatures are still into 15 degrees, not seeing much of a budge there. However, as we look around southern Wisconsin this morning, we're all looking at teens and those light winds coming in from the northwest. Still into the single digits, but that is still factoring into a wind chill, so it is feeling like it is in the single digits as well. However, as we go throughout today, just know our commute is going to have zero issues because we haven't seen anything. We're staying on a dry trend. We'll have more updates coming up in a few moments. Until then, back to you, McKenna.
All right, thanks, Julian. Bringing all of the joy of the Scholastic Book Fair to a nostalgic Madison crowd, the Sylvie's Grown-Up Book Fair delivered a variety of throwback favorites. Saturday's event showcased a handful of independent bookstores in our area. They all had a special selection of books for visitors to check out and take home. Some booksellers say they're still struggling to rebound and stay in business.
I think this is a really great opportunity to see what an incredible range of bookstores, independent bookstores that we have in Madison, and really hoping that people take advantage of those bookstores before they think about buying things at big box stores.
A portion of the proceeds from the event go toward the Madison Public Library Foundation. A local nonprofit is hoping you'll help them and those in need get through cold winter days like today. Christina Laurie has more on what you can do this morning.
On cold winter weekends, we sometimes forget how lucky we are to have a home, heat.
Bedding and blankets are important, one, because we all sleep.
And something as simple as blankets and sheets. Throughout the year, thousands of families across Dane County contact St. Vincent de Paul for a variety of needs.
And one of those items is bedding.
And one weekend a year, the nonprofit holds its Recycle the Warmth blanket drive to restock. Through Sunday, you can donate new and gently used blankets at 7 St. Vinny thrift stores across the county. You can also buy blankets at those stores and donate them back.
Just last year, we gave supplies to more than 1,000 families and individuals.
Nearly $80,000 worth of bedding, plus air beds and portable cribs.
And that's not including our food pantry, our charitable pharmacy.
From its free prescription program to housing programs for families leaving homelessness, St. Vinny's volunteers spend all year making sure those in need have their basic needs.
But this weekend, it's all about the blankets.
The most basic of all, a comfortable night's sleep. In Madison, Christina Laurie, News 3 Now.
If you're not able to drop off blankets this weekend, but would still like to help, you can donate to St. Vinny's online. News 3 Now is a proud co-sponsor of this drive, which is now in its 30th year. Dozens of kids got a chance to go ice fishing on Lake Monona on Saturday. The Ahara Fishing Club hosted its annual event for children ages 14 and under. The first 300 kids received a free ice fishing rod and reel and got a chance to try them out.
We work on a variety of projects to help with conservation of the lakes and water quality and fishing access, and we, as this event shows, we want to teach people how to fish and get active in the sport.
Organizers provided bait and some fishing instruction. They also pre-drilled some holes on the ice. Looking at coronavirus news now, daily COVID-19 cases are down from where they were 2 weeks ago. Hospitalizations are also dropping, but more than 2,200 people on average still dying every day. However, experts say the state of the pandemic may finally be taking a turn for the better. CNN's Natasha Chen has more.
U.S. daily COVID-19 cases are down more than 25% from the peak 2 weeks ago. But not all states have reached their Omicron peak yet. Several states are seeing increases compared to last week, shown on the map in orange or red. And more than 2,200 people are still dying each day in the United States. Still, in the frustrating ups and downs of what is nearly a 2-year pandemic, there is optimism that things may be looking up again.
Deaths are still rising. We know that lag's about 2 to 3 weeks behind. So my hope is within a week or so we see that peak and start turning. And my expectation is that in the upcoming weeks, we will see substantial declines in infections.
A new spin-off of Omicron called BA2 has been detected in 49 countries, including the U.S. But experts say there's no reason to panic.
The immunity that you get from vaccines, and even to some extent from natural immunity, still seems to be protective against this lineage. That's the bottom line. It's not different enough.
As people look at how to do more safely, the White House says 60 million households have requested free COVID-19 rapid tests from the government, with tens of millions of tests having been shipped out already. But there is no definitive guidance from the CDC on how to come out of the pandemic and return to some version of normal.
I'm really focusing on things that I can control. That's my life motto right now.
Some athletes headed for the Winter Olympics in Beijing know years of hard work and preparation could hinge on not getting sick.
If we get COVID right now, we're not skating, and that's extremely fearful. And I'm not that fearful of it, just because I know that I've done everything in my power to not get COVID, and I've done everything right.
The games begin in less than a week with limited spectators, and athletes will live in a bubble.
Usually you're connecting with your friends from all over the world, and it creates this unity, but lately it's been a little bit segregated. So that aspect is not super fun.
In Los Angeles, the Niners-Rams NFC Championship game this weekend is a precursor to the Super Bowl held in the same stadium on February 13th. LA County Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer says the county has likely passed the peak of Omicron, but masks will still be required at the big game, and free rapid tests will be available. For those at home,
if you can't move the TV outside, which in many places you may not be able to do, move the food outside.
She says fans gathering for a watch party or celebrating Lunar New Year this week should get tested before meeting up.
It's not that people can't gather. It's that if you are going to gather, you need to layer in some of those safety precautions. And for people at highest risk of severe illness, you need to be super careful.
Like in years past, the NFL will have a fan experience before the Super Bowl. In LA, fans will get free take-home test kits. Anyone receiving a first, second, or booster dose of the vaccine on site will be given free entry to the fan experience event.
Still ahead, one of the NFL's most accomplished players may be retiring. A look back at Tom Brady's career is coming up on News 3 Now this morning, Sunday. And you're taking a live look over the Capitol. Julian's tracking your forecast just ahead.
Look Who's 3 is sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
Pick and Save delivery is always fresh because we check our produce at every stop on its journey to you. We're fresh every day, so shop anyway. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
Dirt's gonna fly at the Alliant Energy Center. The Monsters of Destruction, February 4th and 5th at 7:30 and the 6th at 2 p.m. Top monster trucks including Laminator, War Wizard, and Crazy Train, along with the insane action of freestyle motocross. Every ticket includes a pit pass for the pit party with drivers and riders. Let's go for a ride in a monster truck. Get tickets and details at monstersofdestruction.com. Get ripped up. The Monsters of Destruction, February 4th, 5th, and 6th.
You've heard that an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but you still need to see your dentist because getting good dental care is important to your overall health. You know dental bills can take a big bite out of your budget, especially if you're retired or on Medicare. Even a simple cleaning can cost $200. And other procedures like crowns and root canals can cost hundreds, even thousands more. But affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company can help. Give us a call or go online for this free information kit with all the details. This isn't just a discount plan. This is real dental insurance that can help pay for over 350 covered procedures like cleanings, fillings, crowns, even dentures. There are no deductibles, no annual maximum, and you can see any dentist you like. So don't wait. Call or go to sendinfokit.com to see how easy it is to save on dental bills.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Dear Winter, I'm coming. My squad of 16 vehicles with all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive is ready to take you on. Safety's the name of my game. So you better bundle up. Toyota.
Right now, you can get 2.49% APR for 60 months on Toyota's most popular 2022 models. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
At Pick and Save, you can get personalized coupons on top of weekly sales for prices that are lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
As we're getting things rolling for us, a beautiful shot of the sunrise over the Capitol as we're getting things rolling this morning. However, temperatures have not moved much over the past hour. 15 degrees still here in Madison, and it feels like 8 degrees as you're heading out the door. Now, as we take a look at temperatures around southern Wisconsin, we are still holding on to teens, which is what we're expecting around this time of year throughout the rest of southern Wisconsin, with 18 degrees in Janesville and 11 in Platteville as of right now. Wind speeds are not too bad. We're still seeing the northwesterly flow with around 5 miles per hour winds in Platteville and about 7 miles per hour winds in Janesville. But our wind chills are actually much warmer than they were yesterday. We were below zero for many areas yesterday, but for today, we're just in the single digits in some areas, especially towards the west with Prairie du Chien and Boscobel. We weren't seeing much in terms of the wind speeds are into the teens this morning. So as you're getting out the door, just know that you're still going to be on the chillier side, but we are not looking at any issues throughout our commute through today as we're still holding on to our dry trend throughout the rest of this weekend. And that's what we're going to be seeing throughout today. 20s will be really the whole factor of what we're going to be seeing in terms of temperatures on the surface as we reach about middle 20s, around 25 degrees going into our afternoon, and then we'll be slowly but surely holding steady and then dropping as we go into tonight. Aside from that, though, cloud cover is going to blanket our skies once more once we see that breakup going into the early afternoon. Then as we go into this evening, cloud cover once again is going to be really blanketing us. As we go into the overnight hours, could be seeing a bit of a break of it, but then coming back once we get into our Monday morning commute. Temperatures will be into the middle and upper 20s throughout southern Wisconsin as we get into about the lunch hour for Monday. And then for our evening commute, we're going to be seeing those temperatures into the upper 20s and 30s throughout southern Wisconsin as we get things rolling. Monday and Tuesday are going to be pretty mild in terms of our temperatures as we can see that ridging action coming into the early part of next week. But then we're going to get another blast of Arctic air coming in, which is going to be chilling things off from Wednesday through Friday of next week. And other than that, we are going to be keeping an eye on this system just south of Wisconsin that's going to be bringing in potentials of some flurries and potentially even some light snowfall as well. As we take a look at our 10-day forecast, however, like I said, the beginning of the week is where we're going to see the warmer temperatures for us, and then we're going to see the drop coming into the middle part with chances of seeing some flurries or even snowfall into the later part of the week. Over to you, McKenna.
All right, thanks, Julian. Sources close to Tom Brady say the 7-time Super Bowl champion is calling it a career at the age of 44. CNN's Andy Scholes has more.
Have we seen the NFL's most accomplished player walk off the field
for the final time. ESPN's Adam Schefter and Jeff Darlington reporting Saturday afternoon that after 22 seasons, Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady plans to retire. And after orchestrating yet another incredible comeback in the loss to the Rams last Sunday, Brady had said on his podcast Monday, any decision to walk away would be a family call.
The biggest difference now that I'm older is I have kids now too, and I care about them a lot as well. And, they've been my biggest supporters. My wife is my biggest supporter. It pains her to see me get hit out there. And, she deserves what she needs from me as a husband, and my kids deserve what they need from me as a dad. I would say I'm proud and satisfied of everything we accomplished this year. So I know when I give it my all, that's something to be proud of. And I've literally given everything I had this year, last year, the year before that, the year before that. Like, I don't leave anything half-assed.
The 7-time Super Bowl champ has always maintained he wanted to play to 45 years old. Brady will celebrate his 45th birthday in August. And his current Bucs teammate Devin White was quick to offer congratulations on a great career via social media. But some close to Brady have told media outlets that his future is still undecided. Brady's agent, Don Yee, releasing a statement to ESPN saying, I understand the advanced speculation about Tom's future. Without getting into the accuracy or inaccuracy of what's being reported, Tom will be the only person to express his plans with complete accuracy. He knows the realities of the football business and planning calendar as well as anybody, so that should be soon. And Brady's father, Tom Brady Sr., also telling multiple reporters his son hasn't made up his mind. The Bucs head coach Bruce Arians, also according to multiple reports, says he has not been told Brady is retiring. CNN has reached out to the Bucs, Brady's representatives, and the NFL, but hasn't received response to questions about the situation. But if this is it for Brady, he leaves as the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. A 6th-round pick that was once the huge underdog ends with the most passing yards and most touchdowns in NFL history. And those 7 Super Bowl rings are more than any other team in league history.
He's able to step aside while still playing at an extraordinarily high level at an advanced age. And the word satisfaction also came into play. He had all that he accomplished in New England. And if he had stepped aside at that point, it would have been more than enough to ensure his place in history right at the top of the pyramid. Then he goes and wins another Super Bowl with the Bucs, and he plays at an extremely high level this year, change a play or two, and he's in the conference championship game tomorrow. So leaving at that level, very, very few athletes, even among the greatest of the great, get to go out on their own terms that way.
Coming up next, vinyl records are making a comeback. How record stores are managing the sudden surge in popularity, coming up on News 3 Now this morning.
Have you seen those small
careful with the...
Sorry, Missy.
Excuse me, could we...
Excuse me, I was wondering, could we...
Finding the right person for the job isn't always easy. But when you have an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can give you personalized advice and could help you save hundreds.
Who wants some dress shirts?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, get to know your local Geico agent today.
Dinosaur Adventure roars into Madison. One weekend only. Alliant Energy Center. With life-size dinosaurs and massive family fun. Experience the thrill of the prehistoric age. Featuring the ferocious T-Rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor, and more. Go on a realistic fossil dig. Take a ride on your favorite dinosaur. Bounce around in the prehistoric playground. And a baby dinosaur meet and greet. Take an amazing dinosaur adventure. February 5th and 6th. Alliant Energy Center. Tickets at DinosaurAdventure.com.
Winter in Wisconsin means snow, blustering winds, and sub-zero temperatures. Will your insulation keep your home warm? Fry Construction can always help. We're your roofing and insulation pros. We'll find cracks and air pathways in your insulation that are letting in the icy cold and hindering your comfort. With our thermal imaging and our cutting-edge insulation techniques, you'll be sure that your home will be warm and energy efficient for many years to come. Visit fryconstruction.com today and prepare your home for the long winter.
If you stutter on the phone, speech-to-speech is for you.
Hi, Nihada. This is Andy Smith, and I was calling to see if our home loan has been approved.
A specially trained operator revoices a conversation to the person on the other end of the line.
Hi, Nihada.
This is Andy Smith, and I was calling to see if our home loan has been approved.
Oh, Andy, we have great news. You've been approved for the full amount.
To learn more about speech-to-speech relay service, go to wisconsinrelay.com.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. Meet new friends or reconnect with some old ones and find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Step into the new with a new Chevy. Very well qualified buyers can get 0% financing on most Chevy vehicles. Plus, current Chevy owners get an additional $750 bonus cash. Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in Wisconsin.
Despite recent frigid temperatures, the number of ice-on days for Madison lakes is melting.
Freeze date is getting later, and the duration the ice is on the lakes is getting shorter.
Meteorologist Dana Fulton gets to the bottom of a climate trend that could have a big impact on Madison's future. Tonight at 10.
In the 608, turns 1. Josh Breiter kicks off an amazing look back at some of the most memorable moments that have brightened our lives for the last year.
And are we still tracking some snowfall around midweek? I'll have all the updates Monday morning from 4:30 to 7.
Finally, this morning, for the first time in 30 years, vinyl records have outsold CDs in the U.S. So what can this surge in record sales be attributed to? As digital music streaming gained popularity, it seemed like the final nail in the coffin for the vinyl record industry. But now record sales have seen a significant uptick, even outselling CDs for the first time since the data began being collected in 1991. Record store owners say part of the reason for the surge is the novelty of being able to physically hold the purchased music.
For the first time in 30 years, vinyl records have outsold CDs in the U.S. So what can this surge in record sales be attributed to?
As digital music streaming gained popularity, it seemed like the final nail in the coffin for the vinyl record industry and stores like Goshen's Ignition Music Garage. But now, record sales have seen a significant uptick, even outselling CDs for the first time since the data began being collected in 1991. Local record store owners say part of the reason for the surge is the novelty of being able to physically hold the purchased music.
To collect the records is a lot different from just streaming something and having nothing to look at, nothing to hold. And a lot of musicians nowadays are putting a lot of work into the cover art, and it's beautiful and it draws you in.
Hirschberger also says social media and pop culture have played a big role in the revitalization of vinyl records. And plenty of entertainment avenues are showing records and record players.
I've seen it in movies, I've seen it in newer TV shows, so there is a lot of placement of record players and records in popular culture nowadays.
While the boom in vinyl records has been great, the opposite seems to be the case for compact discs. At the St. Joseph County Public Library, the demand for CDs has become so low, they're being sold off for mere change.
All of these CDs are selling for just 50 cents. So, years ago we used to have to purchase a CD for $20 or $15. The sales of new CDs have dropped by 90% nationally. So, yeah, so it's really not surprising that there's just not really the demand for CDs like there used to.
The demand for vinyl records isn't just limited to one genre either. Be it current, classic, rock, or country, Hirschberger is having a tough time keeping it in her store.
Stuff from like Bob Seger to Radiohead. Country's kind of coming up in the ranks where I've never really sold much country, and there are some newer country artists, Casey Musgraves, Sturgill Simpson, Chris Stapleton. They're definitely selling a lot of records.
Hirschberger says the Fleetwood Mac album Rumors continues to fly off their shelves weekly. Coming up at 6, which age groups are coming in the most to buy records? In Goshen, Leo Goldman, WSBT 22 News.
And a final look at our weather. The 3 things we're going to need to know from our forecast is we're looking at seasonably cold conditions for today. Heading into early next week and from today, we're going to still be into that dry pattern. However, that may switch up just a bit as we go into our Tuesday, as we are looking for some small flurry bursts and even potentially some light snow showers to roll in for us. But that's what we're going to see once again, that drop in temperatures coming in from Tuesday night into our Friday. We're looking to go back into the teens, and our lows will be single digits and below 0 as well heading into the next weekend. But that's one thing we're going to be keeping an eye on, because after that, we're still going to be more on the drier trends. And that's going to do it for our 10-day forecast. Over to you, McKenna.
All right, thanks, Jolene, and thanks for joining us this morning. Stay with us on News 3 Now all weekend long. We'll have another hour of news later tonight.